Hey everyone, good to see you all here.
Hey, welcome everyone. It's nice to have everyone here. Let's see who's in the house. I see Patty. Hi, Patty. Carrie. Bradley. We've got so many screens on here. We can only see like 12.
Yeah, let's see. Flip through. Hey Todd,
There's Hania,
Leslie.
Willow, Sue, Carolyn, Lori, Isla Rose,
So many of
Nadia.
you. Love it.
Amazing.
Love it. Everybody throw in the chat where you're from. Is this the first 888 portal you're here for, or is this the second one? Throw a one or a two in the chat. Let us know. Did you come to the last one? Or are you here for the second one? Amazing. Virginia Beach. It's the number one, number two. Awesome. So all of those who didn't come here last week, make sure you go to the Lightworkers Worldwide section of the Atewa app and watch the replay of last week. You can do that after this, and then come again next week and the week after, because we're going to do this two more weeks after today.
Yeah.
Amazing. I saw a bunch of people putting choices and intentions in the chat for what we want to create in today's portal. So that's absolutely amazing. And let's dive in. We got some things we want to share with you guys before we get into a meditation and do the portal work. So we want to talk about the 0 point frequency of wholeness and really what creating a portal in yourself is all about.
So last week, for those of you who haven't been here, we covered all the what we call the lower chakras. So we went into the earth star, the root, the sacral, solar, and then this week is only about the heart specifically. We're just doing the heart. We're gonna really, really step into that space, and we're going to talk about some concepts here today that is not usually talked about in the way that we're going to talk about it. So we're going to hopefully shift some perspectives for you so that you can see the true essence of what the heart truly means and what that is. So the first concept that we want to talk about today is the concept of raising your frequency. Drop in the chat, what do you guys feel that means to you? Could you bring up the chat as well?
It's over there.
Right there.
I moved it.
There's so many screens.
Yeah, what does raising frequency mean? You guys have all heard it, here to raise the frequency of the planet, raise the frequency to ourselves, raise the frequency of others, help other people raise their frequency, all of this stuff. What does it mean to you to raise your frequency?
Amazing.
Seeing the world with a more love-based understanding. I like that.
Yeah. Someone said everything. You're on point. Beautiful. I love it. So many different perspectives. Let's bring them all together, right? That's what we're here to do. Okay, so talking about the concept of raising your frequency. So shifting into the remembrance of who you are, what you are, and founded within the truth of all things actually does not mean or is not about raising your frequency at all, because all frequencies exists within you. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. When we get into the idea of raising a frequency, we're putting something higher and we're putting something lower, which means you actually step into the energy of duality, which is, if you want to put it on a scale, a lower frequency than the frequency of everything. So whoever said everything, you're on point. Yeah. Because it does include everything, the whole frequency. This is why we like to talk about wholeness versus higher or lower, or the source self versus higher self, not putting things above and below or inside and outside, recognizing the validity of all of it, which is what today's journey is going to be really all about, is recognizing the validity of all things.
Yeah. So creating the need to raise your frequency, once again, creates the need to polarize towards good and bad, high or low, positive and negative, inside and outside. So it's always focusing on one and the other, or creating the one and therefore the other must exist, right? So it creates that experience, once again, of push and pull. Could you explain that beautiful concept again? I think you spoke a little bit about it last week.
You know, I was going to grab a pendulum to demonstrate this, but I forgot it.
Let's grab the headphone thing.
We're going to use the headphone cable again. Okay. All right. So this is a little headphone cable. It doesn't have very much weight on the end of it. But anyways, hope you guys can see it. If you can't see it, let me use an ink pen. This will probably be easier. All right. So here's an ink pen. If this ink pen, it can swing back and forth in my hand like this. Now, if I want more of this ink pen, let's say this is the thing I want right here at the tip of the ink pen. If I want more of this in my life, I can pull it towards me. If I try to attract it, I try to bring it to me, then it will seek to go away. It will naturally move away. If this is something I don't want right here, something negative experience, bad experience, low vibrational experience, I can then try to push it away from me. And I swing it over here, and then it will seek to come back. That's the law of the pendulum swing. Now, rather, if this is something I want, I need to move myself to it. If this is something I don't want, I need to move up here to be the master of it, so I control. Okay. And to recognize that it's always here, and either I'm interacting with it in a way that swings back and hits me in the face and it's not a pleasant experience, or I interact with it in a way that I'm in a harmonic relationship to it. There's no getting rid of anything because we live in a closed system. You can't take anything out of it. You can't put anything into it. It is the all. When we try to raise frequency, lower the frequency, yes, Alicia, cosmic slap. You and I both know what that feels like. So we were talking about that the other day in the group class. You brought up a beautiful illustration of the cosmic slap. So in this, remembrance of who we are, we're not just recognizing that we're creators within the universe. We're recognizing we are the same stuff of the universe. We are the all collectively. And individually, we are an aspect of the all, experiencing separation and individuality. Now, that separation and individuality does not need to be disharmonic. We do not need to push and pull and fight our way through this universe. When we try to raise the frequency, we imply others are lower. When we try to help other people raise their frequency, we first have to put them on a low frequency. You're the creator of your own individual experience, which means in your perceptions, consider this principle. Many of you have heard me say this before, but for everybody that's new here, the only reality you can experience is the one that fits within your perceptions. So if your perceptions say, these people over here, low vibe, these people over here, high vibe, and you're somewhere in there on your journey, what you've done is create a perception that fractures the whole system out of being whole into separate groups. And you lump people into one group or the other group. You say you need to help somebody raise their vibration. You're the creator of the entire experience through your perceptions. That's how it gets to you. And so you're going to have whatever experience aligns with your perceptions. And if your perceptions are aligned with good and bad, up and down, left and right, high and low, then you will have that experience. And then if you feel like you need to help the people that are maybe in the low end or help yourself out of the low end, whatever it is, you'll be forever trying and never actually achieving, because the very basis of needing to help something out of lower first implies that the perception of it being in the lower and therefore manifests it into being in the lower. And that is where it will always be. If the perception is to fix or solve that problem, there first must be a problem created to solve. So the way out of this little duality is to recognize the validity of both polarities, to recognize that everyone is choosing on their own, just like you are choosing on your own. And we can stop shaping other people's perceptions into higher and lower. And we can stop shaping ourselves into that. We start with ourselves because that's what you can control. And then you go and you create the life that you love. And I am short summing this up in short form. And to go and create the life you love, you do not push the thing you want or pull the thing you want in and out of your life. You instead shift yourself into harmony with the vibration that you want. And if the vibration that you want is something like peace, peace is a vibration that has a connection to all things. It even has a connection to chaos. However, it's a connection where those two are not in opposition to each other. And that exists. And it's called harmony. which is a little bit of an illusory word, because what does it actually feel like and what does it look like in our life? Hopefully, as we explore today, you'll get to gain a sense of what that feels like in your heart. Hopefully, you'll gain a sense of what that looks like in your inner vision for yourself, if that's what you choose. Because I certainly can't steer your perceptions. But with a guided meditation, I can tell you to look in a certain place, and either can tell you to look in a certain place. And we can guide you to bring your awareness to certain vibrations, vibrations that include the validity of all things. And in doing so, what you choose to experience with that is your choice and your experience. It's my hope that you use that experience to tune yourself into a vibration that is expanded. I like to call it expanded vibration. And just include everything. Simply include everything. So once again, when we create the need to raise the frequency, this creates the polarization, the high and the low, and you'll always be on the roller coaster. Put the word roller coaster in the chat if you're ready to get off the roller coaster. And you're ready for the ride to level out. But here's the thing. If you go to a theme park, you damned better ride the dumb roller coaster, because it's fun. That's what the point of the theme park. So there's a validity in all emotions, which means we're not actually going to get off the roller coaster. We're going to learn how to liberate ourselves in the experience. Can I share a little story about my roller coaster?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I was 22 years old before I ever rode on a roller coaster. I never went to a theme park as a child. I grew up in a religious space where that was deemed what evil people did, because we grew up in a very strict and religious church. So I'd never been to a theme park, never been to a roller coaster. I was 22 years old. Went with a friend, and we actually went with their younger siblings and took them to the theme park. It's my first time going to the theme park. So we get on the roller coaster, and I am not enjoying it. I am looking at all the ways that roller coaster could kill me every time we go around a turn. I'm looking at all the nuts and bolts that may or may not be put together with enough engineering to hold the thing up. I mean, it's working now, but what if? My analytical scientific brain is looking at all of the ways that this could go wrong, and I am not enjoying the experience. I am stressed out and full of anxiety. And I'm at a theme park to ride a roller coaster. Anyways, person I was with said to me, "You're not enjoying this at all, are you?" And I said, "No, not really." And they could tell I was really analyzing the whole situation. So they said, "Okay, we're going to get back on the roller coaster, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to throw your hands up in the air. You're going to let go of your harness. You're going to relax your body, and you're going to scream and feel the experience of the adrenaline and the excitement." I was taking the excitement and the adrenaline, and I was turning it into stress, the same emotion, the same energy in the body. And I was experiencing it as stress, as tightness, as tension, and as fear. 10 seconds later, the roller coaster gets to the top, and it goes down the dip, and my friend grabs my arms and yanks them into the air off my harness, and like, scream. And so, down the roller coaster we go. And that moment liberated my consciousness from living in a world where everything was analyzed through the lens of fear. I had never in my life before stepped out of the fight or flight, fear response, anxiety, anxious, and stress paradigm that I'd been in for at least the previous 15 years until that moment. So quite literally, a roller coaster started my spiritual awakening journey. I didn't know that that's what was happening that day. I didn't know it. All I knew was I learned to enjoy life again. I didn't even know that much. I learned that I like roller coasters at 22 years old. And then I learned to enjoy life again. And I learned that there's a validity in all things. And while it's valid to ride the roller coaster in fear, it's also valid to ride it in joy. And it's not a silly thing at all. And in contrast to that, we can apply this to everything in our life, right? Everything is a polarization of an up and a down. You got to go up to come down. You got to go down to go up. So while you're here having an experience, that's the nature of it. So the real question is not, do you want to get off the roller coaster, but rather, do you want to enjoy the ride you're on? And if it's a rickety ride that's about to fall apart, do you want to strengthen it so that you can have confidence in the ride you're riding? Do you want it to be one of those really really sketchy roller coasters you find at the county fair that they set up and they take down, and it may not, it really is sketchy? Or do you want it to be one of the really strong ones that's, highly engineered and well built and solid and put together? Is that the life you want to live? Do you want to live the solid life or the life that's right on the edge? There's nothing wrong with living right on the edge of life. Like, some people like that. Do you want to experience stress? Do you want to experience excitement? Do you want to experience anxiety or uh, anxiety, excitement, stress, and excitement? They're on the same frequency, actually. And on the contrast to that, you can take things like sadness and joy. They're the same frequency. They are one phase shift in waveform apart.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that.
It's my favorite story.
So coming back to the concept of raising your frequency, in actual fact, it is a fourth dimensional concept. And we're not there yet anymore, guys. Like, we've moved through the fourth dimension, right? We're in the dimension that we call the fifth. Let me explain a little bit about what the fifth dimension is. It's not really a place, it's a perspective. It's a perspective of unity. In the fourth dimension, you have, these two polarities, 2 and 2, right? 1 and 1. In the fifth dimensional perspective, you have the concept of unity, where we really step and bridge into what the heart is. So the fourth dimensional concept, or the raising your frequency concept, is actually distorted in our perceptions, portraying as balance, but it's not. It's not true balance. So let's talk a little bit about sacred geometry, just to bring this all into a kind of an image. In sacred geometry, we can see that the pattern of creation shows us what true balance is. And this is why Nikola Tesla said, if you knew the power of 3, 6, and 9, you will have the keys to the universe, right? So if you can bring up that image of the Vesica Pisces. Do you guys know what the Vesica Pisces is? We'll bring it up.
Now you do.
So the Vesica Pisces is an image representation of the first movement in the universe. And the first movement is frequency. It's sound. We very often say that we are beings of light, right? But we're not. We're actually beings of sound. Sound came before light. And
sound is light.
Yeah.
Light is amid the sound spectrum.
At some point, when you enter the unity consciousness and frequency, they all equal each other, energy, frequency, and vibration. Mm-hmm. But in the linear description here, the Vesica Pisces is a depiction of the first movement in the universe. One bridges into another and observes itself as itself. You see, you will see this also in cell division. The normal cell, you can bring up that image too. And they divide into 2 again, continuing into 2, into 2, into 2, into 2. So those 2 cells, the one will replicate itself into 2, the other one will replicate itself into 2, and keep going until it grows, right?
I want to point out something about the Vesica Pisces as well.
Yeah.
The geometry in here is very interesting. Both, if you take one and you split it into 2, and that second one takes a single step halfway to the edge, what happens is there is a geometry, a ratio that happens. You see on here, we got the square roots, the 5th square roots, and the 3rd square roots, and all that stuff. Anyways, the angles and the geometries that happen inside, that looks like a sideways eye, by the way, is actually the exact same geometry that's found in the rods and the cones and inside of your eye. It is the geometry necessary to perceive the visible light spectrum across 7 colors. So in the first move, we have access to 7 frequencies right there. And then this move replicates, and eventually we get 3. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah. Same thing with cell division. And then you can bring up the infinity symbol as well. Just look at that. It's the same image, isn't it? So let's talk a little bit again about the infinity symbol and what it really, really represents. So infinity in itself explains a pattern and a cycle that creates one perspective and two opposing sides, right? The two polarities. Infinity limits itself actually because it does not explain what infinity really means. In fact, it explains the total opposite of what infinity really means. If you take the word infinity and break it down, it literally describes being infinite. Do you guys hear that? Infinite. Finite describes one piece of the equation of the whole, validating perceptions in a one-directional experience only. And that's where the concept of this raising your frequency because your frequency is low comes in. That distinguished one polarity is better than another. So it literally creates this pattern. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this pattern before, but it's called vortex mathematics. Creates this pattern of 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, and 5. Do you want to explain to them they're using the mouse how this whole thing works? And then also where the infinity symbol actually is created by.
I don't think they can see my mouse, but
you can?
No.
Okay.
But you can see on the screen, there is a 1, a 2, a 4, an 8, and a 7, and a 5. If you follow the red lines, if you start with 1, double it 2, double it 4, double it 8, double it 7, double it. Now, the reason that it goes from 8 to 7 is when you get to 8, you double it to 16. On a base 10 number system, or base 9 number system, whatever this is, we've put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 around a circle. When you get to 8, we don't have a 16 on the circle. So if you reduce the 16 by adding the characters 1 and 6 together, you get a 7. If you double the 16, you get 32. You add 3 and 2 together, you get 5. Double 32, you get 64. And 6 and 4 is 10. 1 and 0 is 1. We're back to where we started. This sequence perpetuates regardless of if you're doubling or if you're halving. You can go to 1/2, and it's 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, 1/32. The same numbers appear in both directions. And a doubling circuit will never encounter 9, 6, and 3. It's also interesting. The 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 sequence is exactly what's found in the bits of a computer. 1 gigabyte, 2, 4, 8 gigabytes. You go to the store and buy a flash drive. It's going to be either 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, so on and so forth. I know this because I used to work in computers and I have the entire thing just about memorized. But it'll never be a 9 or 6 or a 3. The 9, 6, and the 3, if you imagine that there's a pendulum, and imagine this little Nikola Tesla guy is holding this system by the 9 up at the top. And imagine that he's swinging a pendulum around in a circle. The pendulum will move through the 6 and the 3, around and around and around, and it'll never touch the 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, or 5. The perspective of each of these is equal to a dimension. So take, for example, the 1 dimension. If you go from 1 to 2, that's where we move through this Vesic of Pisces, moving from 1 to 2. All the way up, then if you move to 3, you're going to be in this 3rd dimensional spot over on the where it says number 3. From the 3rd dimensional place, you are a product of whatever is doing up there at the 9, and you're limited to the experience of the 3rd dimension, 3 points of perception. You can move to the 4th point of perception, which is down at the bottom, and you'll see things in a great amount of polarity. That's what happens for many people. When you move to the 5th point of perception, which is the 5th dimension, now the system begins to feel complete because you're actually on the other end of it. You're in 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. You're back to the point where you're at the bridge between 7 and 1, which is very interesting. And that's 5. This is why the 5th dimension is so significant. We talk about going to 5D, is to view the world from at least 5 perspectives. Now, the human body has that ability. We have 5 senses built in. We also have what they call the 6th sense. We get into psychic abilities, right? It's the 6th sense. And why? It's because when you begin to see the world in 6 perspectives, you have direct access to the 9th. If you can go to the 9th perspective, you can now steer the 3rd dimensional world and the sixth dimensional sublayer of the world, which is our psychic gifts and abilities, the telepathic world that exists just beyond the five senses. And from that place, if you can steer both of those dimensions, you now can influence the world of the 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, which is the patterning of the matrix, the patterning of the physical existence. It's the pattern of DNA itself. From that perspective, you guys maybe know somebody or you've heard stories of people that have gone through spontaneous healing. I have the honor of knowing many, many of these people because I've worked with many of them as well. When they go through a spontaneous healing, something shifts in their DNA. I've even seen people come back from one of these experiences looking 20 years younger in a matter of days. What's happening is their consciousness has spent time sitting in the perspective of the 9 and the 0. The 0 is right in the center of this whole thing where you see the vortexes come together. And when you move from the 9 into the 0, you can reset the entire system back into whatever you choose. Whatever was chosen at the moment you arrived at the 9, you can drop into the 0 and the whole system repeats. So if someone chooses health, for example, and they move to the 9th perspective, and then they move through the 0 point, their entire life will reset into something that provides health. If they choose wealth, it'll do the same. If they choose love or peace, it'll do the same. This is how you quantum shift from a geometrical perspective or a mathematical perspective. Now, in terms of how it's experienced in your actual experience, it's a feeling. It's to complete all aspects. See, the 9 is the sum total. It's the sum total of everything. If you bring in all aspects, all polarities, positive and negative, up and down, good or bad, you bring in all the polarities and bring them together, sum them up, and then take that summation with a choice into the 0 and back out again. Your entire life resets into the experience of what you're choosing. Now, if you try to do that without summing up all things together, if you don't pull in all emotions, say you just take the happy emotions, you're like, screw anxiety and screw sadness, I'm going to go in with just my joy and my happiness. Well, that might look like trying to enter that 0 point in the center of this equation from the 8 or from the 2. There's no way in. The 1, the 2, the 4, the 7, the 5, the 8, the 6, the 3, they do not have a direct access point to the 0. The 0 is right there in the center of that seed of life you see in the middle. They can't access it directly. Without being able to access it directly, if you try to go through the 0 point shift and you try to change your life in quantum shift and you're going through something, but you're only accepting one positive and you're pushing away the negative, you'll never make it to the 0 point. Instead, you'll end up going around it and you'll land in the opposite polarity. So you try to keep all the joy, you're gonna land on the other side in sadness or pain, whatever it is you are avoiding. It'll slingshot you right into it. To see it, to know it, to connect with it, to acknowledge it, to love it enough to bring it all with you. This is why in the work that we do, we say we need to bring all parts of self. We don't get rid of. You can't release or get rid of. So I want you to imagine that 7 over there is like, let's say the number 7 represents pain, suffering. And then the number 2 represents peace and joy. If you try to enter the 0 point from the 2, you can't access it. You go around the 0 point, you'll land over at the 7. You'll experience pain and suffering until you become okay with it. You acknowledge it and you love it. And then you can take both the pain and the suffering of the 7, and you can take the joy and peace of the 2, and you can put them together. Now, what do those 2 look like when they're put together? 7 and 2 is 9. This will then move you into the summation of these 2 polarizations, and they will move up to the 9. From the perspective of the 9, you can take the whole of both, drop into the 0 point, and create whatever you choose. This is the same for any and all polarities. Now, a powerful thing is when we make a portal, and we do this with many polarities at once. So maybe it's pain and suffering and peace and joy. Maybe it's sickness or it's health. Maybe it's financial struggles, and maybe it's wealth. And if each one of those are attached to these polarities and we pull them together, move them, they add to 9, and then we drop through the 0 point. And from there, You recreate the whole reality into alignment with acceptance and allowance, and therefore your choice. I hope this is making sense, because this is one of the most significant principles that a human being can understand how it works. And then it's the most significant experience to experience what it feels like. And those are two very different things, because intellectualizing it like we're doing now is a mind activity. What we're going to do in the meditation is a heart activity. Now, you can know this stuff. Like, I have a quantum physicist friend. He knows this stuff, like knows it, can explain it for hours, can teach lectures on it for days. But his life doesn't reflect it because he cannot allow himself to feel it, because it's too scary. Because he'd have to accept that all of the bad things that have happened in his life are okay in the end. And he's still clinging to good and bad, up and down, high frequency and low frequency. So today, we're here to merge all of this together into the 9 and drop into the 0.
Yeah, beautiful. So this pattern, you will also see it literally describes our regular mathematics, which is 1 + 1 = 2, right? And then that 2 replicates itself over and over and over. And if you can show them the cells there as well. There we go. So do you see it's 2 and then it's 4, right? And then it keeps going in that same pattern. 4 will multiply itself and then goes to 8 again and again, just like that pattern. But if you look at it in the 3-dimensional perspective, do you see the flower of life coming in there as well? Mm-hmm. So in the 3-dimensional perspective here, it is actually showing us the keys to 3, 6, and 9 in the sacred geometry. If you look at it 2-dimensionally, like on the, under the microscope, it is, it seems like, it just keeps going like in that pattern. But if you look at it 3-dimensionally, the images next to the microscopic images, you start seeing the flower of life there. But what happens if you have 4 circles like that? It's not very stable, is it? It's an unstable structure.
I want you to imagine a cardboard box. It's got 4 sides. If it doesn't have the 5th and 6th side on the ends, like you unfold a carton, right? And it begins to form this shape that's a trapezoid. If you can imagine that, you begin to tilt that carton such that it forms the shape that fit into those 4 circles, third group down. What happens is you can collapse it. You can take that cardboard box from being a square to being a trapezoid to being flat. When it goes flat, it becomes a line and it drops back to the first 2 circles. Yeah. Which then drops back to the 1.
So let's explain this in a very tangible way as well. So the first move was the Vesica Pisces, like we talked about, right? But the next move is actually 3 circles. So in actual fact, 1 + 1 is not 2. 1 + 1 is 3. Because if you look at a couple having a baby, right? Every regular couple, it's the man, the woman, and they have a baby, right? Right there, again, it shows the sacred geometry. Yes, sometimes we've got twins. That happens. But still, the 2 come together to form one creation. That's what it's about. And there you have a stable structure, because if you have the 3 circles, you will have a triangle. And the triangle has a base, right? And that's where the 3, 6, and 9 comes in. It stands stably. So if you look at the dimensional perspectives here, the 4th dimensional is pretty unstable, right? The 5th dimension, again, is stable because we are moving into allowing that extra sensory to come in, like he has explained.
And the shape of the 5th dimension, and if you want to draw it in a geometrical shape, it looks like a pyramid with a flat top.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a triangle with the top chopped off. There's 5 points.
Amazing. Awesome. So you pretty much explained stepping into the 0 and how, if you guys want to really, really dive into this stuff, go and watch the movie Sacred Geometry movie. Write that down. It's on YouTube. Spirit Science, right?
Yep, there's a spirit science movie. It's about 90 minutes long called Sacred Geometry Movie. He goes into it way more in depth than we just did, and it's well worth the 90 minutes of your life.
Yeah. So explaining all of this, we're going to ask you a question here, and we want you to really, really think clearly about what this question really represents. Okay. And this is a beautiful video that I saw, and it describes everything that we're actually doing here today. And if you guys don't follow this guy, his name is Luke Belmar. Luke Belmar. Go and follow him. You'll learn a lot.
He might piss off half of your beliefs. Accept it. He's a very, very aware and spiritual individual who understands a lot of this stuff. He's 27 years old, and he's got the game figured out.
Yeah.
In some very profound ways. Luke Belmar.
Luke Belmar.
Just look him up on YouTube or TikTok and have fun.
Yeah. So this is the question. I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you to put your answer in the chat as either number 1 or number 2. Okay, there we go. So would you rather be broke and very happy, or would you rather be rich and experience some happiness? Pop in the chat what you will choose.
The one is to be broke and very happy, and the 2 is to be rich and experience some happiness. All right, the next thing is put in there the reason for your choice. Why would you rather be broke and very happy, or why would you rather be rich and experience some happiness?
Some people say 3.
You don't get a 3.
It's number 1 or number 2.
The goal is to be happy. Is it, though? Greed is minimal. I didn't say anything about greed. I said be wealthy and experience some happiness.
Satisfaction.
We're looking off over here because the chat's on the other screen, guys.
Yeah.
That's why we're off over here. Okay, so yeah, let's unpack this.
Yeah. So most people picked number 1, right? Just raise your hand if you picked number 1. Let's see on the screen. Okay. And who picked the second option?
Awesome.
Amazing. Right. So in actual fact, the choice that would be recommended here would be number 2. And the reason for that is because consider this answer for a moment. Rich and experience some happiness. Happiness is not the only emotion that is valid and needs chasing, right? We just spoke about that. And it is just as valid as any emotion, like any other, just like we spoke about as well. If you choose only happiness and chase it, you will automatically create the opposite. And this is why so many people experience that, because they only chase that one thing. They keep themselves in the polarization.
We're lied to most of our life and told that happiness is the thing that we're here to pursue. It's not. Experience is, which means it doesn't matter where you go. You're never going to have a life where you're always happy. There's always possibilities of things that create maybe sadness. And that's a valuable thing.
Yeah.
Let's look at some other things. There's things that create passion. There's things that create thrill. Now, either one of those things can easily be anger. Or also, you could take thrill and it could be fear very quickly. Take, for example, if a loved one passes away, you don't want to be happy. You want to feel that experience. You want to allow yourself grief and sadness. Happiness is not the be all and end all. If you chase it, you will lose it, and then you will be sad and upset, and you will resist sadness. You will fight against sadness, and it'll always keep cycling around and around and around. So just like those two polarities we talked about earlier, if we take the sadness and the happiness, both of these, and pull them together, recognize that both are valid, then we can go and create. And through that comes wealth, wealth of all things, wealth of energy, wealth of mind. Wealth means well health, by the way. So you will be well of health in all areas. Your bank account would be well of health as well. So to be wealthy, to be rich monetarily and in every other way, and experience some happiness and experience some sadness, is to be whole and have the whole human experience, to have the entire experience. Most people are trying to only have half a life on earth, and they're cowering in the corner, clinging to happiness while missing everything. It's just going by. We've been programmed to so many programs about money that would make you choose that as well. We've been programmed about happiness. I believe it's even somewhere in our Declaration of Independence. It's something about the pursuit of happiness, or one of our so-called great presidents that created the United States. Maybe not. History tells us that. Maybe it's a lie. Who knows? Anyways, they put this thing about the pursuit of happiness being in there. I'm not sure why. They should have put the pursuit of wholeness, or the pursuit of life's experiences.
So yeah, life is about experiencing the fullness of what life has to offer. And that includes every emotion. So imagine this for a moment. If you have two halves, let me just put my hands on the screen. If you have two halves, one half, another half, if you bring them together, they make one whole, right? We're talking now about all opposites here. When you put yourself in the vibrational frequency of wholeness, what happens is really something really, really profound. So this is where choice comes in as well. If you put the two halves together and create that wholeness, what then automatically happens is a representative experience of wholeness. So if you were sick, that's when you get healthy. Do you see that? That's how you see miracles happen. And I've experienced this myself through two chronic illnesses that I've had, from one moment to the next moment. And we're going to take you guys today through a visualization very similar to what I experienced when I shifted into that miracle. And that is pretty much like what I did was I chose to communicate with the illness that I had. And a lot of times when we have illness, what we do is we push it away, right? We fight it. You need to fight the cancer, right? That's what they always say. You need to fight that illness. But I did something different. And it was from the guidance from within myself, bringing in this wholeness. And I expected, when I tuned into my mind's eye and connected to this illness that I had, I expected to see something very dark, very dense, spiky. You know, I thought that's what the image would look like. But to my surprise, the image that I saw, it was a beautiful, luminescent, pearlescent sphere of light. That's what the illness represented itself as. And when I saw that, I realized, oh my gosh, I had it all twisted. The illness was there to remind me of the wholeness that I am. And this is the visualization that we're going to take you through today, a very similar type of visualization and experience. So if you guys are ready to step into your heart, we are.
So it's going to be a 90-minute in total. We're at least going to go to half past the hour. One thing I want to comment on, somebody put something in the chat and made me think of this as well. Knowing, when we have the knowing of all, we have this full connection to all things. Everything is valid. You have the ability to access everything. And in any given moment, can you access happiness? Yes. Can you access anger if you need it? Yes. Can you access sadness if it's necessary? Yes. You basically have all emotions on speed dial. So you can feel them. Otherwise, you get a suppressed emotion. Something happened that required the energy of sadness, and you banned sadness from the room. So you're not able to have that experience. So today we're going to go through that inclusion of all emotions, bring it all into the heart space. So glad you blocked it out till 7, Sunny. Amazing.
Amazing.
Let's go ahead and get started. So find a comfortable spot. Make sure you bring choices to your awareness.
Any choices that you want to bring into this space, bring them into your awareness now.
If you've written some down, or you got any last ones you want to write down, make note of them. I would recommend a choice as simple as I choose to see all emotions as valid, or I choose to know all things as valid. Really allow yourself to step into that. Let's start with some deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Recommend having your headphones. Focus onto the breath. Focusing into your heart space. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take that deep breath in and hold it for a moment. And slowly breathe out. Allow your body to relax with each breath. Feel your body gently settling in to the surface of the couch or the chair or the floor, whatever you're on. Allow your body to relax into that surface. Feel the support that it's giving you. And choose to be fully present in this moment, setting everything down, allowing yourself to be all the way here, right now, right here.
Let's begin by grounding ourselves fully within our Earth Star chakras. Visualize and imagine roots extending from the soles of your feet, going deep into the earth. Feel the connection with the earth, providing you with complete stability and support. Take a deep conscious breath in, drawing in the energy of the earth. And when you are ready, gently breathe out, feeling this connection strengthening with each breath. As you allow yourself to take a few more breaths in and out. Feel the grounding energy anchoring you and giving you this complete sense of security, support, and balance, while knowing that you are connecting with the blueprints of your soul.
As you're connected with the blueprints of your soul, gently bring your awareness to recognize that you're connecting with the heart of the earth, consciously, to the truth of who and what you are, at the foundation of the truth of all things. Bring your awareness now from the heart of the earth with a deep breath all the way up into the space between your lungs, your heart. Notice how your heart holds the same frequency, the same light, and the same energy as the heart of the earth. Breathe in and breathe out. Visualize this frequency of green light into your awareness with love and gentleness. Notice it glows and pulses with each breath you take. And with each inward breath, see the green light grow brighter and more vibrant. And with each outward breath, feel this green light enveloping you in this gentle warmth of perfect love and perfect trust, always supporting. Allow this green light to expand and visualize it filling your entire chest, allowing yourself to expand this sacred space of yourself to fully hold all of you, inviting every part of self and every emotion into this space.
And as you continue to breathe, imagine seeing it filling your entire body now, radiating the brightest green. With each breath, allow this light to grow, encompassing your entire being. And as it grows and expands, imagine this green light transforming and shifting now into a lush, flourishing, abundant meadow. Find yourself standing in the middle of this beautiful landscape. The sun is shining gently, casting a warm and golden glow over everything. A soft breeze touches your skin, carrying the sweet scent of wild flowers and fresh grass. Surrounding you, this vibrant green grass is swaying gently in the breeze, and the colorful wildflowers are in full bloom, and their petals open wide in the sunlight. And in the distance, you hear the gentle sound of a stream pedaling over smooth stones, simply adding to this beautiful tranquility of the scene. Take it all in for a moment and just allow yourself to fully be there.
As you find yourself immersed in this beautiful space, slowly walk towards the stream. Feel the softness of the earth beneath your feet. Notice you're walking on the softest grass. Notice the way the grass feels between your toes and the coolness of the ground as you step closer to the water. As you approach, take a moment to observe the clarity of the water, reflecting the blue sky above and the surrounding scenery. Notice the stream is lined with smooth, rounded stones and patches of moss, creating the perfect place for you to sit and just connect with nature. Find a comfortable spot by this stream and sit down. Imagine closing your eyes and taking a deep breath here. Feel the peaceful energy of this place enveloping you, surrounding you, and supporting you. Allowing your physical eyes to remain closed. Imagine opening your eyes fully in this place and completely taking in the beauty around you. See the shimmering waters, the vibrant colors. Notice the gentle sounds. Feel the connection to this environment, knowing that this is a part of you and exists within you. Take a few moments as you allow yourself to be fully immersed. Maybe notice the wildlife, or inquisitively Look closer at the ground around you, noticing the shapes in the stones or the ebbs and flows of the water.
And as you sit by the stream, you begin to notice a presence around you. You feel an energy gently touching your shoulder, but you recognize its familiarity. And then you feel another touching your other shoulder. And as you allow this familiar presence, you see these bright, colorful orbs of energy appearing out of the brushes, through the grass, from behind the trees, and floating out of the stream, approaching and surrounding you from all directions. You notice your happiness because you know this is your team of light. And each bright orb represents a specific guide, a guide from your journey here on Earth. And each guide also represents a different emotion and experience. They all radiate love, light, and wisdom, and represent all the frequencies of light. And their presence fills you with a sense of deep, deep peace and joy. They all gather around you, forming a circle of rainbow light. Feel the energy merging with yours, strengthening your connection to your universe. Take a moment to fully connect with each one, reuniting yourself with each emotion. Each of these emotions, which are your guides, has been guiding you through each experience.
As you notice and you connect with the energy that surrounds you, you notice a vibrant orb begins to turn into a being with a radiant smile. Its presence exudes the energy of joy, lifts your spirits, and fills you with a sense of delight. Notice its features and its gentle face. Its light is bright and warm, like the sun on a clear day. Notice another orb begins to turn into a gentle, serene figure with soft and compassionate eyes. This being represents sadness, but is wrapped in a comforting blue aura, reminding you of the beauty and vulnerability and the depth of the human experience. Its presence is calming, like a soothing embrace. You feel complete love and trust as you fully connect with its energy. Then a being of pure, glowing light steps forward. You intuitively know that this represents love. Its energy is warm and encompassing, allowing you to feel safe, cherished, and connected to all. Its light glows with a white, soft pink, radiating unconditional love and acceptance. As you bring into your awareness a reflective being with a gentle demeanor that approaches you from the side. This being embodies guilt, but its presence is soothing. You intuitively know that its role is to help you understand that guilt is a sign of your conscience and a reminder of your values. Its light is deep, introspective, a rich blue, inviting you to reflect and remember the value you create when you feel fully. Feel this truth. and allowing for yourself a connection to all of these guides, emotions, and beings that surround you.
A nurturing figure with open arms steps forward now. This being represents compassion. Its energy is tender and understanding, encouraging you to extend gentleness and kindness to yourself and others. Its light is a soft green, radiating wholeness and true empathy. And then another steps into your awareness, a vigilant being with a calm presence. And this being represents fear. But it reminds you that fear is a natural response, guiding you to approach challenges with courage and awareness. Its light is a brilliant red, reminding you that fear can be a guide and a teacher that grounds you back into the remembrance of that it is all you. Remembering this, you see a serene figure with tranquility in its aura that steps forward now. And here you embody peace. Its energy is calming and balancing, bringing a sense of harmony and stillness to your heart. Its light is a gentle white, radiating calm and serenity. Again, take a moment to connect with each of your guides, which is representative of each emotion. See their faces, feel their presence, and know that they are here to help and support you. They offer you their love and wisdom, and you can accept their guidance with gratitude through your choice.
And in this sacred space of your choice, notice you feel whole and complete. Maybe you notice these guides smile at you warmly, and you recognize the deep connection you share with them. They have always been with you, guiding and supporting you, each in their own way. Take a moment to fully integrate each emotion with you, knowing that every feeling, whether it is joy, sadness, love, or fear, all are valid, contribute to the wholeness of what you are, allowing you to have a full experience. Bring into your visualization a golden light of neutrality, filled with perfect love and perfect trust. Notice this light surrounding your heart. Swirling gently, this light embraces all emotions with compassion and allowance. Invite these energies that have surrounded you to integrate inward, allowing yourself to feel and bring the remembrance of unification, peace, neutrality, and oneness. As you sit by this stream, surrounded by these guides, feel their energy merging with yours, moment by moment. Their light flows into you and your light flows into them. Together you form a beautiful web of energy, each representing a different emotion, creating a harmonious whole. You feel the knowing that every energy is a guide, a teacher, and a companion on your journey. Embrace the beauty of each one, knowing they all have a place in your heart. Feel the deep sense of connection perfect love and perfect trust that unites you with your emotions and your guides. Itu koasante ashu utuku eterda. Osoenea kasa asuene aki utusoa. Iti kune akantuso anna halakant isea. Se shuana kanteata.
Oshitiki isate mahante ifeshati mentue. Iswashante te yanenue shana.
So eto usoa shant tukueat ente. Dea antusoa antukuaseta.
Eshute saane ya interesani.
Allow yourself to feel the flow of energy, inviting all energy into the space of your heart, allowing yourself to expand.
Allow yourself to be here in this wholeness for a few moments without our voices. Move your energy. If you feel like you need to move, flow, speak, go ahead and do that for a few moments without our voices. Begin to bring your awareness back to this present moment. Move around, gently stretching your body. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Thank yourself for taking this time to connect with your heart. Allow yourself to carry this expanded heart, integration, and love with you throughout your life. Remember, you can return to this state of wholeness and balance whenever you choose. Spend some time here with the frequencies, and when you're ready, you can allow yourself to just come back and open your eyes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
It's great
Welcome
to have
back,
you all
everyone.
here. We'll be expanding even more into some of the upper chakras next week. So I'll be back same time, same place, same Zoom link. If you're not in the Ateo app, make sure you are. I think most of you are in there. We'll post up the replay shortly in the next couple of days as well. I know a couple people had to hop off, so you'll be able to revisit it and hear me tell you this after the fact. So
Beautiful. How's everyone feeling?
feels so light, powerful, awesome. Keep it up, guys. Tune into this more. Remember, it's about the inclusion of all things. Bring it all inwards. Everything is valid. Every experience is valid. I think this is one of the most important aspects of making any changes in our life. Because if we push something away, it comes back. If we pull something in, it goes away. Bring all of it together and go to the 0 point, the center, right in the middle. And when we go to make changes and we go to do portals and we want to get somewhere, right? This is the fastest way there, is through the allowance of it all without polarizing one against the other. Lynn is asking, how does this work with choosing how we feel? Well, you can choose how you feel because you have control over that. But if you feel sad, you should choose to allow yourself to feel sad. So then you can feel happy when you're ready to feel happy. Now, when it comes to choosing what we feel, are you the one that needs to feel sad because that's how you actually feel? Or is it someone else's impression or program or influence on you that generates that feeling? When it comes to choosing how we feel, a lot of times we'll feel stressed, but we actually don't need to feel stressed. What's going on is there's a situation, someone else's thing is making us feel stressed. And that's where the power comes in. You can choose your emotions. You can choose what's needed and necessary in your experience. When your emotions are manipulated by everything and everyone else around you, which is where many people are living, that's where we're out of control. So it's never about choosing emotions and leaving out the rest. It's about you being the one to choose what is the emotion you need to feel today and allowing yourself to feel that emotion. And sometimes that's joy. Sometimes that's anybody ever had a good cry and felt better afterwards? It's the body literally needing to flow the emotion of sadness or sometimes joy. We can cry tears of joy, right? But I know that can be really helpful. Always remember your headphones, people. When we do a meditation, you're going to need your headphones. Always bring them. Somebody was asking a question up here. V.
Can I get more info on the light language use? So we speak within our soul's frequencies, and sometimes that can represent itself in different ways. Sometimes I feel that there's a Pleiadian energy or an Arcturian energy. Today specifically, it was Lemurian and Pleiadian. That's the two that came through for me. He had a little bit of Arcturian energy. But it's not about distinguishing these energies. It's about allowing all of what you are to come in to be expressed through that inner voice. If you want to know more about light language, if that was the question you meant, you can reach out to us in the app as well. And then we can direct you to find the resources there.
You can send us a message. You can find a lot of information in the app. If you want to work with us more in depth, find the 13-week masterclass in the app. I know several of you are already part of that. And there's a button on there to schedule a call to talk to us about diving deep into it. We work with light language throughout a significant portion of that process to shift all the chakras back into their original structure and many other things. If you just want to talk about light language, there's a segment in the app that you'll find. I think there's one on the light language session. Is that in there in the Galactic section?
Yeah.
There's some modules in the Galactic membership on some introductory things to light language.
You can also check out my YouTube channel. It's
She's-
called Quantum Shift Ayla Lee.
Yeah, there's a lot of information there and light language type sessions. But if you have a question, you want to know where to find something, you can message us on the app and we can most definitely drop you the link to it.
Sunny's asking for the link.
The link to our app?
Link to the app?
Or the link to something specific? Please clarify.
Also, just want to mention, guys, remember Egypt happens in September. There are still some seats available. So if that is something that resonates with your soul and you want to create going there, just reach out to us and we can also get on a call and talk to you about it.
I'm going to find her YouTube channel link. Just a moment.
Egypt is in September 15th to the 23rd.
This one, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. YouTube channel link for Sunny and anyone else that wants to follow Ayla Lee on YouTube. That's her YouTube channel link. Highly recommend it. She's got so many great activations and meditations on there. Secondly, if you want to come to Egypt, there's the Egypt link. And thirdly, if you're not in the Atewa community, you should be, because in the emails, I've mentioned it a dozen times. And we're going to stop sending out reminders, text message, and email for events like this. And the only way to find them is going to be in the community app in the Lightworkers Worldwide section for events like this. The Lightworkers Worldwide section is free. Here is the link to the app. And that's the third link on the Ateo app. So make sure you're in there, because future events like this, we're not going to be sending out mass emails. There's a limitation to how many emails we can send per day. And we have too many people on the email list to send that many emails in a day. In order for me to email everybody that's on our email list, it takes us over a week. That is ridiculous to send out a few emails every day. I mean, I'm sending thousands a day, but it takes a while to get it out to everybody. So if you want to know about these things, make sure you're in the app, because we'll post it. You'll get a little notification and to go ding, ding, and you can say, hey, I'm coming, and it's done. And then it makes it very simple.
And these collective events, they will always be found in the Lightworkers Worldwide space.
Yes.
In the app.
Carrie, no, you do not have to attend all of these portals in order to come to Egypt, but you should attend all of these portals. Why would you not? At least watch the replays. I understand if there's scheduling conflicts, but
the
no.
replays will be up in the Lightworkers Worldwide. So if you do miss a live, you can go and rewatch it there a couple days later.
And we've also posted past Lightworkers Worldwide events are now in that section as well. So you can go check out some of the other portals like this that we've done over the last couple of years. And yeah, tune in, have a journey, enjoy what resonates, send us a message if you need anything or you want to know something more. And then definitely come to our Friday community calls. You find those in the schedule. You can grab a membership and tune in for the Friday community calls, or any of the other courses and information in there. Anything that if there's not something in the app, here's another idea. Message us and tell us you want it, because sometimes I don't know what to create for everybody. And then someone will mention they want something, and then I go, okay, I'll go create that thing. So if you're looking for a particular area of support, let us know, because we're constantly creating new things. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you in Egypt.
Thanks, Carrie. Thanks for being here, guys. Have a beautiful week ahead. Next week, we'll bring the focus into the upper chakras.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final week, we will include it all.
Yep.
So
we'll see you. We'll see you there on the flip side.
We're excited to have you here, and have a beautiful week, and reach out if you need anything. Lots of love, guys.